Rev up your engines!
Car Naughty says, I can't find a VIN information on free car history reports. I'm looking at a 99 Lexus ES300. I was trying to run a free car history report on cars for sale, but got a message that said no information was found for this VIN. Is the car too old? Is there a problem with the car? I'm just doing a pre-check on cars, so I don't want to pay for any reports like Carfax until I'm serious. Can you recommend other websites that give free car history reports? Well, not really. See, what you find is if it's free, it's not going to be that great of a search engine. I wouldn't trust anything they do. How are they getting their information? Information costs these days. You got to pay for information, right? You can't get something for nothing in that case. Get in a car, drive it around, bring a scan tool when you want to look at a car, right? And then, if it seems okay with that, then you get Carfax. I don't even trust the Carfaxes myself, because I've had customers that had cars that were wrecked 3 times. Right? And one was totaled twice out of 3. And the Carfax report said it was never in a wreck. The guy owned the car. He knows he was in the wrecks, right? And the Carfax said it was never in a wreck. So I don't trust any of those. You're much better than those stupid reports, finding a mechanic like me to check it out when you're serious about buying a car, because you can't trust those reports. And if you read the new ones, they always have a disclaimer somewhere that says, this car was not in a wreck according to any of the information we were able to attain. Right? So they're even telling you, you can't trust us because there might be more information out there that we couldn't access. So, most of that stuff isn't worth the paper it's printed on or the screen that it pops up on your phone. You can't trust those. You need to have a mechanic check out a car. Don't trust those reports. They aren't all that inclusive, and many of them are totally inaccurate. Like that friend of mine, Honda Civic, been wrecked 3 times, and when he checked it, because he was buying a car and he paid for one of these monthly things, so he said, I'll check my Honda, see what it says. And it said it was never wrecked, and he knew it had been totaled twice, and in 3 major wrecks in its history, so, because he was in the car when it happened. Well, for once I agree with Consumer Reports. They say that EV models run into 79% more problems than gas cars. Some of the reviewers come out and say, well, that's not surprising. They're new. They have to get the bugs out of them. Well, why should you buy something that has bugs in them, right? We live in a pretty technological age. You would think they could get the bugs out of them before they sold them to people. But no, they're rushing this crap into production like the Ford F-150 Lightning electric pickup truck, which is a massive failure. They basically took an F-150 truck and turned it into an electric truck. Instead of designing it from the ground up, they took what they had, threw electric motors and batteries in it, and it's a massive failure. It doesn't have any range. People want a truck they can pull stuff. You pull stuff, it hardly has any range at all then, because all that extra weight takes a ton of energy. I mean, an idiotic engineer could have figured that one out, right? If you know anything about trucks, you might have a truck that, let's say, it gets 17 miles a gallon on the highway, right? But if you're towing a heavy load, that might go down to 7 miles a gallon. Well, that's a big loss. Well, think if you got a battery that maybe can go 190 miles. All of a sudden now, it can only go 80 miles or 70 miles towing something. What's the point of having a vehicle like that, There really isn't any. And it's no surprise that they have 79% more breakdowns than regular cars, because it's new technology. And of course, this is the tip of the iceberg, people. These cars haven't been out all that long, right? Wait till they're old and they really start falling apart. That's the part that people don't really understand. When they get old and they start breaking down, nobody can get parts. Nobody can figure out what's wrong with them. This is just the tip of the iceberg. Well, Chevy's lack of quality rolls on. Chevy Equinox, Blazer EV, and GMC Terrain are recalled because their door strikers may have not been made right, and they will just snap off, and your door may fly open while you're driving down the road. And if you get in a wreck, it might fly open, and you might go flying out because the door doesn't stay shut. This is how bad it is at GM. They can't even make that metal door striker that the door locks into correctly. Now, this is for 2024 Equinox, Blazers, Chevy Blazer EVs, and GMC Terrains. They say they're recalling them, and they're going to have to replace all 4 because they don't know how many of them are broken, right? Each door is a door stopper that it locks up on, right? Well, all I have to say is, GM, get your act together. Man, you can't even make door latches anymore. What hope is there in making electric vehicles that are going to last? They can't even make door handles anymore. And of course, GM is not telling anybody how many of these they've recalled. The number's probably gigantic, and now they're not even telling us that, They want to hide as much as they possibly can from the public because it makes them look bad, right? They're not even giving the number out. It's kind of ridiculous that they should be forced to be saying, we're recalling this many, but they're not even telling. So if you bought one of these things, hey, if you listen to me, you wouldn't buy one of these GM products anyways. So you're in the clear. But if you didn't hear me or you don't believe me and you bought one, don't say I didn't warn you. Well, Washington, they make laws, but then they make exceptions, right? Well, when Trump was in, the U.S. had all these tariffs on Chinese goods because they didn't want the Chinese goods coming to the United States and undercutting American companies, right? Now, in 2018, they created these tariffs, but of course, what happened? Well, they have exclusions. They make laws, but there's always that fine print. They make the battery law for electric vehicles that if the batteries are made in America, then you can get, a $7,500 rebate on your electric car, blah, 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 right? But they don't bother to tell you they include Mexico as part of America. This is supposed to be for the United States jobs, right? They extended it to, Mexico's part of North America. So, the ones made in Mexico, they count too, like Ford, they make their Mustang Mach-E electric SUV, had nothing to do with a Mustang except the name, right? They make them all in Mexico, and they get the tax break because, they're still made in America. And now it turns out that the U.S. is going to extend the exclusions on the tariffs yet again. Now it's till May 31st, and when that comes along, they'll probably extend it again, right? I mean, there's so many backroom deals going with these things. They make it look like, look, what a great idea. Then you read the fine print and you see all the crap that they're trying to pull, and they exclude their friends' businesses and all this stuff. And they'll always use some BS thing like national security. It's a matter of national security, so it's very important. We have to exclude these things because it's national security. Don't listen to any of that baloney. Follow the money. The money here is they're excluding a bunch of things because obviously they have ulterior motives here. Well, if you think you get crazy messages on your car's dash, check out what this guy sent me from his big tractor trailer, the 18-wheeler. Here's a message he got. And if you look inside, the middle, it says, urge to move aborted. It turns out that on this tractor trailer, it's a safety thing. So that if you did not release the air brakes, you can't move. So if the air brakes on, you put it in drive, start to go, it says, urge to move aborted. Somebody's got a sense of humor putting those exact words into the trucking screen. I gotta say, that's one of the funniest things I've seen for a while. Urge to move aborted. Sounds like something my father should have had that on him. He liked lying around and reading, So he would have had a sign all the time lit up that would say, urge to move aborted. Oh, why should I get up and move? Why bother? What's the point? Well, there's some crazy company out there, and they say they can regenerate solar panels. They degrade over time, and they're saying, we can do it. You don't even have to take them off your roof, right? In Singapore, there's a company called Volt, and they say they can rejuvenate solar panels. They get micro holes in them. The sunlight, UV rays degrade them, and they don't work as well. And they have a device that they claim can scan the solar panel in about 5 minutes, and using high-intensity light can seal the holes, or so they say. And it says it can bring them up to regular performance for up to 5 years. Yeah, how long have they been testing it? These people make up stories all the time. But here's the kicker. The cost of the treatment is 20% the cost of new solar panels, right? 20%, that's a lot of money, right, for this treatment. They claim that it'll work on 90% of the solar panels that are out there today. But for each panel, it takes 5 minutes. But listen to this. This is what makes me laugh. The process takes less than 5 minutes for each panel and can help treated solar panels recover up to 5% of their lost performance. 5%! Okay? You're spending 20% of what it costs to put a new solar panel in, right? And all you're getting is 5% of the performance back. That sounds like somebody's a fool to even give this information out. As soon as I read this, I thought, well, who the heck would spend 20% of the money and all you're getting back is 5%? Talk about peeing money down the toilet, you know? There's so many scams with this alternative energy stuff. I mean, it'll make your head spin. And these guys saying, oh, well, we can do it over on your house. It takes 5 minutes. You have 5 minutes per panel. You've spent 20% what it costs to buy new ones, and you're only getting, at a maximum, 5% back. It says up to. That means probably not even that much. There's going to be some scam artists out here. You know, when all this alternative energy stuff comes out, there are scammers everywhere. And this sure looks like one. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.